had done a video right before this on this egg and how to decorate it, but unfortunately my dog started barking at the ice cream man that was going by, and my neighbor's goat was buying and making all kinds of noise. Yes, my neighbor has a goat. We live in a neighborhood, but behind us is a house with like a lot of land, and so they have a lot of farm animals, and occasionally you hear them, and today was one of those days. So I've shut the window and I have shut my door so that my dogs can't come in, and hopefully this video will go much better, less distractions. But I do want to show you just how detailed you can get with this project drawing tutorial. So I did a lot, and all this was just repeating different shapes and lines, and I'm going to go over that again, but it's going to be a little bit more simple. So this video is going to show you how to draw and decorate an egg. So you're going to start with the letter U, and then you're going to connect your U with a rainbow line. See, my egg got a little bit taller than my last egg, and that's fine because eggs are completely different. I mean, no egg is going to be the same, and that's what makes it unique. So your egg might be a little bit more round, one egg might be a little bit more skinny. There's lots of different eggs in the world. So we're going to start with this one, and I'm going to show you how to just use different shapes and lines for this piece. So if I'm using a zigzag line, that's a great start. And then I can use a wavy line. Maybe I use, we call this the castle, so it's over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, and over. You could do a loop-de-loop and draw that. So there's lots of line possibilities. There's like this little hump line, like the camel hump. You could do a dash line. You could do a spotted line. And you could simply just do a straight line. So just with different lines, I've already decorated my egg. But if I want to make this more detailed, I can go back and add those more shapes and lines to create those details. So I'm going to switch over and use a Sharpie just because it's going to have a bit more of a finer point. And I'm going to add that detail. So I'm going to create some dots in between my zigzag. I'm going to go ahead and add a second arch to my hump line, camel hump. Okay, connect those. There we go. I'm going to add, let's see, I want to add a diamond shape. So let's add some diamonds right here in between our waves. And then I'm going to add a dot in the middle of my diamond. And I'm going to add a dot in between my diamond. So that's just using some dots, and already you can see the detail. Let's see. I'll add a little curved line underneath my dot on my zigzag. I can add a curved line in between my wavy line. I'm trying to mimic similar things I did with my previous one. I could add some swirls underneath my camel humps. Then I'm going to add, let's see, might just add another loop-de-loop line right here. Okay. I'm gonna trace around my circles. So this is a great video for practicing patterns. Add another circle here and trace around it. There we go. Let's see. So you can see the detail. Just, you could keep it this simple and color in between your different lines, but just by going back and adding the dots and designs, I'm getting that more detailed egg. So I'm gonna draw like the letter V, and then I'll use like the letter M. So you could even make it about letters with the letter O above my V's. And that makes a pattern, because the pattern is anything that's repeating. I could add rectangle. Could add a side rectangle. I could add just some vertical lines. Looks good. And then, let's see, just to finish the top off, maybe some more polka dotted lines or dots going across. And I'll add some straight lines in between my loop-de-loops with a dot at the top of my loop. There. So now I have my very detailed egg, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to add like a gradient. So what I did was in this one, I blended all these colors together. They're similar, you know, colors, because red, pink, like you get pink from red by adding white, and then the purple is of course made with red and blue. So they're a similar color family. So I'm actually gonna switch it up. I'm gonna use, I think, like greens, blues, maybe even a little bit of yellow. So those work well together because they're all side by side on the color wheel. So I'm gonna grab my yellow and some greens. I'm gonna set that there. All right, oh, we got a lot of blues too. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use all these blues, but I'll get them out. All right, and then I'm just gonna start coloring. So I'm gonna use my indigo blue at the bottom, and I'm gonna color side to side. So it's amazing when I was looking this up, because I wanted to share some facts with you about egg decorating. So the tradition of egg decorating is actually 60,000 years old. The oldest recovered egg that was decorated was an ostrich egg, and it was found in Africa, and they dated it back to 60,000 years. So this is a practice that's been going on for centuries. So that's pretty cool, knowing that like that tradition has lasted for so long. But of course, you know, every country and culture decorates eggs for different reasons. One of the reasons egg decorating started was because of when Christians started decorating them, they would actually dye eggs red to symbolize the blood of Christ. And that's why you have so many people decorating eggs for Easter, because Easter is to celebrate Jesus Christ. So that's the Christian belief and faith. But of course, you know, other countries, I know in Egyptian times, about 5,000 years ago, they would place gold and silver eggs, like ostrich eggs, and they would place those in the graves to symbolize death and rebirth. So decorated eggs have been used for all different purposes and reasons. I think today a lot of families simply just decorate eggs for fun, and it's, you know, you have that tradition that you go look for eggs and you hide them, or that the Easter Bunny leaves you eggs. So there's so many reasons that families, countries, cultures, religions use and decorate eggs. So, I mean, look at what we're doing now. We're artists, and we're decorating the eggs to practice drawing pattern and creating this gradient scale. So we're using it for art. And back in the 1800s and early 1900s, there was an artist, Fabergé, created jeweled eggs that became very popular that husbands would buy and gift to their wives. So the tradition of decorated eggs has been around for a long time and changes, you know, a lot depending on where you're at and what you're using them for. All right, so you can see I'm just gradually changing my color scheme. So I'm switching it up. I started with like that bluish purple, and I'm slowly working my way up to green. I don't know if I want to include yellow yet. Maybe. I think the ice cream man's back. I can hear my dog barking. But fortunately, he's in another room, so it's not as loud. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch back to using my green, just so it's still following that order of the color wheel, or even like the rainbow, because you go red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, or violet. All right. Very cool. So again, this is a gradient scale. The idea is that the color is gradually changing, and you're just trying to keep it going side to side so that you have those colors blend easier together, and that you have that gradual change of color. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned a little bit about the history of egg decorating and how different cultures and countries and places have used it, and that you get to have a little fun, whether it's decorating using patterns and color or actually decorating a hard-boiled egg with dye. If you do that, it's always great to have a white crayon around and draw on it with white crayon first before dipping it in the dye. Of course, you can always dye it and then draw on the egg with Sharpie, so there's lots of possibilities for that. All right? Well, I hope you enjoy, and I hope you have a wonderful Easter. Bye!